Welcome to the Young Guns podcast, a mark in time for successful young people. We've got Amber Lee with us.
Thank you for having me. Known as Amber.
Just Amber?
Yeah, my parents are the ones that call me Amber Lee. But,
Okay. So you're an interesting young woman. Mm-hmm. So you're, what are you now, 31?
Unfortunately, yes. We don't ask a woman their age.
Sorry, okay.
Come on.
Well, you're right. That's right. It's but it'll be on the thing at 31. So you want something to compare you with. To me, well, everybody around my age, you're a very young woman. So
fair enough.
So
I'll take the compliment.
There wouldn't be anybody my age that wouldn't want to be 31 again. I'll tell you. Yeah. So your story. You were born overseas?
I was. So I was born in Cape Town, South Africa, and then moved over to New Zealand in 2003 when I was about 9 years old.
9 years old, okay, yeah. Good. So you've got good memories of Cape Town?
Not at all, unfortunately.
Oh, it's a shame.
Some. I would like to go back, though, just to kind of see the developments in the area, but it's not something that's kind of on the top of the list at the moment.
No, we went there in probably mid-2000s or something, I can't remember, around that period, and it wasn't too bad then.
Yeah, but, I feel it's gotten slightly worse since.
Pardon?
I feel it's gotten slightly worse since.
Yeah. But, the location's quite pretty.
Yeah.
But, it's certainly different for somebody coming from New Zealand, seeing the houses with the barbed wire and, and the shantytown communities outside the cities.
I don't feel I'd have the right street sense to head back, to put it lightly. I've had friends that just went over in December, came back in January, and to say that, general Kiwi street sense, she just left her handbag, just happened to leave it in the car and wandered off just to go to a side stall, literally within 3 metres of the vehicle, and her bag was stolen instantly. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, okay, right, it's still happening then.
Yeah, mind you, I've seen that happen here as well.
Yeah, so, this is true.
Tanya had a knitting bag in the back of our car in Mount Eden, and a guy came along and reached the top of the door open to get the knitting bag.
A knitting bag of all things.
It looked like a handbag. It was an old handbag, but he stole her knitting.
Yes, okay, right.
And she was only halfway through it, so, it's just terrible. So you came to New Zealand, and so obviously your folks were looking for a better life. You've got brothers, sisters?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, so I am one sister.
Yeah.
So I'm 15 and 13 years apart from my brother.
Oh, okay, it's quite a gap, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
So definitely a massive age gap, but it's been really good because they've grown up with me as sort of a senior figure in their life. So they do generally call on me if they're getting into trouble and not my parents.
Oh, okay.
The amount of midnight pickups I've had to do has been far too many, but that's all right. We won't comment on it.
They're obviously younger than you.
Yes, much younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one just finished school end of last year, was his last year.
Right.
And the other is 16 now. So he's just got his restricted, and he's borrowing my other half's Volkswagen Caddy to drive around in, and no questions asked on what he's up to.
Good. Were they good guys?
Yeah, definitely turning out to be good kids.
Good. And so you left school at a young age?
I did. I left at 15.
Yeah, good. Me too.
Yep. I know. Everyone looks at me and goes, you left at 15.
Yeah, and why was that?
Bullying.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Really, they were bullying you?
Absolutely, yeah. I was heavily bullied as a kid. It was a combination of bad choices, bad friend circles, people making fun of those friend circles. So ironically, when I was going through school, I was kind of hanging out with people that were 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
That was quite odd back then for a 15-year-old to be seen hanging out with 18-year-olds. But I found, and this has happened throughout my entire life, I've always managed to socialise with those that are slightly older. And I think it's because there's a little bit more wisdom and more life experience to come from them.
Right.
And I feel like what you learn from the seniors around you is generally how it's going to impact what you see moving forward. And people at 15, I'm sorry to the majority, but, frontal lobes aren't developed on the majority of boys.
Yeah. So
I find that what their focus was back then was not the same focus that I had.
And what school was that?
Orewa College.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Wow. That's my school too. So we're bullying at Orewa College.
Yeah, we probably. I'm not sure if I should say that out loud, but definitely.
Yeah, no, you can say that. Yeah, we can go around later and get their letterboxes if they still live in the area.
And then, main reason that I also had to leave as well was because I was 15 and had left home as well.
Oh, you'd left home at 15?
Yep, left home at 15. Orewa College told me that because I don't have a legal guardian, I could not return as a student.
God, that's terrible. Is that right? So where were you living?
I was flatting with friends, again, the 18-year-olds that I'd made friends with. I was flatting with them and their parents, and then kind of moved around a lot. Was living on people's couches and garages, just trying to find somewhere to kind of get on my feet.
That was your homeless phase?
Yeah, it was. We'll call it my homeless phase,
Yeah. So then you left school at 15.
Yep.
And then what did you do?
And then I decided to be kind of an apprentice technician, or in the background, someone that pulls cars apart at a little automotive yard in Silverdale called Hell BM, so working on BMWs. I had a passion for BMWs and European cars, so it kind of fit well. So I started out there, so I worked part-time there and part-time at the local dairy.
Right.
So it was kind of like, all right, well, if I'm going to work,
And did you have a part-time job through school or anything? Or?
Surprisingly not, no.
Oh, okay.
First job would have been the dairy and then moved into working at Hell BM. Did on occasion when I was doing correspondence schooling, so because Orewa wouldn't have me back, I had to try and go through correspondence
You got to wonder from a responsibility point of view whether that was a good decision on their part?
I feel like it left me high and dry. To the aspect that you're leaving someone, you're not allowing someone that wants to go to school to come back to school just because I wasn't living at home at the time. And that was kind of an eye-opener for me. So I did join the correspondence school, and it was challenging having to motivate myself from the perspective of I'm not in a classroom.
Yeah.
I'm having to mentally actually get into it every day.
Because that would have kept you off the streets for 6 hours a day.
Correct, exactly.
So who was the head then?
Oh, I can't even remember, actually.
Kate Shefflin?
I feel like that rings a bell.
Yeah.
It was definitely a time in my life where I tend to kind of block out the memories and forget, because post all of the hardship from my teenage years, I eventually ended up on a better side of life. So
yeah, good on you. Yeah, because if it was her, she told me one day how much tougher it was for young people, and I said, "It's not. It's actually easier now because there's more opportunity." And she said, "How's that?" I said, "They can start a business from their phone."
Exactly.
And and I hear that story time after time where kids have just gone out there and had a go and started a business or got a job. Or
I feel like kids, if they've got the right parental influence, are doing really well from wanting to kind of expand and push themselves to do something at a younger age. Whereas I'm trying to think, when I was 15, working at the local dairy after school or doing a paper run was the best that you could do.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there was the technology to support any advancements on running like a drop shipping company, from your home.
No, some of the stories there are amazing. Yeah. So you'd had a bit of a fallout with your parents or something? Yeah,
I had a relationship breakdown with my dad, and ironically, 6 years later, we're now really good friends.
Oh,
Dad and I are very similar in personalities.
Yeah.
He's a typical South African dad.
Yeah.
Can be quite harsh on the punishment front, and me coming into, coming from South Africa to New Zealand, Kiwis and South Africans have very different parenting styles.
Right.
So what I was being influenced by how parents should be on the Kiwi front of families was not the same to how a South African family operates. So it was a bit of a clash, and what I thought was unfair was now what I see was mum and dad just kind of guiding me in the right direction.
Yeah. But you looked at other families that you associated with and thought, well, this is not the same rules as their family.
Yeah, less strict, more fun, and I was like, that's what I want. And ironically, now looking back, especially with my younger brothers, one being 16, the other being 18, I sit there and I go, do not make the same mistakes I did when I was a youth. Right. I wish I had stayed at home for longer. I wish I'd saved my money and bought a house back then, So it's ironic how different things look when you're a lot older.
Oh, they are, yeah. But, it was so fortunate that then that could have been a real vacuum in your life that could have sucked you into any
it was definitely wrong social group as well. Like, I was not with the right social group, and I think it wasn't until started out, technically my first job was a paper run, and then the dairy, and then worked part-time at the dairy and at the BMW workshop. So after that, I then got in a job as an account manager for a lot of the Auckland dealers around here, so doing accessories. That's a big it's a professional way to say account manager, but really it was just admin and reception staff at an accessory. So they did window tints, blackouts on cars.
Was that?
That was just on Fanshawe Street.
Okay.
Before they bolted and put a brand new building up. There used to be an old little garage just kind of right next to the BP there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so...
Well, the building's still there, isn't it? Is the building gone?
It's slightly gone. It's been bolted, and I think is it Fidelity Life or something?
You're down the corner. Okay, there was a garage there. Okay.
Yeah, there was, surprisingly.
Yeah, you're selling auto accessories and tints and...
Yeah. I've always been a car person. I've always had a passion for cars.
And by that time, you were what age?
Oh, this would have been late teens.
Late teens, okay.
Yeah, because I was about 21 when I started at Audi, so I'd been there for about a year and a half, 2 years. So we're talking kind of 18, 19.
Yeah.
And Deborah Calland, I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah, the real estate agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deborah came in.
Yeah.
And she went, what are you doing? I said, well, actually, I'm planning to join the New Zealand Police. And she went, why on earth would you want to do that? And I said, well, I feel like that's the right fit for me. And she said, no, you need to do sales. I said, I've never thought about sales in my life. And she said, if I was still working full-time in my real estate business, I would have hired you.
Yeah.
But she said, you know what I can do is I can get you a job. And I said, well, I've got a job. And she said, no, a better job. So she said, I'll call the dealer principal at Mark, which was Mark Bycroft at the time at Continental Cars Audi, and see what positions they've got going.
Wow.
And I went, oh, this is quite peculiar. She obviously quite likes me. This is interesting. And then next minute I was being wheeled in for an interview at Continental Cars, and they went...
And you were 18?
No, this is about 20.
Oh, 20, good, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got 20.
And there was a reception role or dealership support role becoming available. And had the interview, had an exemplary reference of Deborah Calland. I mean, you couldn't get better than that at 20 years old.
Well, she's a good judge of character because she only hired women for her real estate company. And
I have a lot of respect for her.
I haven't seen her for a long time. But
unfortunately, she passed away last year.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Very, very unfortunate. So she...
At what age?
Oh, I'm not actually sure what age. She always seems so young to me. So
that's terrible. That's terrible.
I mean, she ended up being my best client when I was at Audi, and she pushed me and drove me in the right direction. Look what she
did for you.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yep. If it wasn't for her coming in and seeing me as a very young girl with no idea how to apply makeup, no idea how to dress properly, but obviously I've managed to be able to talk my way into her liking me and upselling her on accessories. She went, yep, you need to go do this.
So you got your job at Continental?
Yep, got me a job at Continental, spent 6 years there.
Wow.
Awesome place to work.
Yeah.
I mean, for a first-time salesperson rolling into a premium dealership, that's unheard of. You normally start at a used car yard, or you kind of start at a volume brand like Toyota. But to roll straight into Audi and be one of the younger salespeople there was awesome. And then following
so
on
they trained you up. Yep. What sort of training did they? So you had reception to sales?
Yes, yep. So reception and dealership support, so a lot of the back end and the admin work. And then I think it was Deborah always in the back of my ear, like, you need to do sales. Oh,
she was still going.
She ended up being my best client. She would pop in often to see me and how I was doing. And so I said to my boss at the time, who was the sales manager, who's now ironically the general manager for Sime Darby Auto, David Sutton.
Okay. No, I don't know him, sorry.
No, I
bought a Gill Trap. I didn't go to Continental, but that's okay.
You cheated on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I said to them, look, I want to do sales.
Right.
I said, this is apparently what I need to do, so I want to do it. And they went, all right, we'll do training courses. So I went to like Sales Star and, selling courses. And I said to them, the best way that this can happen is by putting me in the role and seeing if I can succeed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we went. And eventually, I think it was about 2 years, they went, all right, let's try sales. You'll be a junior sales executive. And I went, that's fine. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And the income change from being admin to commission based on sales was incredible. It's interesting as well when you start earning more money, who comes around you as a circle of friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I met a lot of really high aspiring people in their lives that were wanting to go places and do things. And that kind of changed my thought process of what I want to do. And I went, well, I don't just want to do sales, I want to do more.
Yeah.
So
but your group of friends changed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, well, I'll get my degree, because in New Zealand at 21, you do not need university entrance.
Right.
You can just roll straight into university as long as you've got life or work experience.
Right.
So for me, that was beneficial. So I did my business management degree part-time while working full-time at Audi. That was fun. My lunch breaks were spent studying, which I can't imagine people wanting to do, but alas, we did it. I did my social studies. So I did my social sciences degree in police studies, because I still have an interest in
going
policing.
To the police.
Yeah, it's
now too.
Yeah, it's
really.
Yeah, when I was younger, they helped me out, and I've always wanted to give back to the community. So that's where that role kind of came from.
Right.
But I'm waiting for them to pay a little bit more. So maybe then.
Okay.
So it is still something in the background. And then I did my finance degree when I was working at Ford. So subsequently, that's now.
So you moved from Conti's to Ford.
No, went from Continental to Tristram. So I was a group business manager there. So that's where I changed from sales to finance.
Okay.
A lot of people said to me I'd make a good business manager. And I went, no, quite happy selling cars at this rate. I know how to sell cars. I've got good processes to sell cars. That's where I want to be. Yeah. And they went, no, you need to do finance. Finance is just selling, but
selling finance
on cars,
Yeah.
So went to Tristram European, became their group business manager. So did Skoda, MG, Volkswagen. And that was a really good experience. And ironically, where I work today is thanks to one person, and why I ended up being such a good business manager is also thanks to one person, which would be Nick Proctor, my boss.
Wow.
He was an account manager at the time that I started at Tristram European, and he was the only rep out of all of the finance companies. So obviously when you're a business manager, you get access to a lot of different financiers. You get Avanti or Heartland or UDC.
Yeah.
And Nick spent the most time with me, answered all my calls, and trained me the best way that he could and set me up for success. So a lot of where I am today and all the awards I've won in the avenue of work I do is thanks to Nick Proctor. So.
Is it interesting, the people you come across in your life that have an effect on you, and if you listen, maybe they'll help you out and push you in the right direction? And
definitely, and I feel like being able to listen and learn and adapt is probably one of the key strategies to being able to move up kind of through the progression.
So selling finance opposed to selling cars, that's obviously better, is it? You enjoy that more? Or?
I definitely do enjoy it more now. I'm working back in finance again. So I did 6 years selling cars, right? You know, in a roundabout way, it was about 6 years of selling cars. And you kind of get to a point where, well, for me, I've always wanted to be like, what's my next step?
Right.
Like even now, my current role, I always look ahead going, what's my next step? I think the memory of having no money and being homeless is something that is always cherished very closely in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And the fact I never want to be there again. So I'm like, cool. What's my next step? What division or avenue of a business can I learn more about so I become all-rounded and well-equipped? So for me, it's, you know, people kind of go, oh, so you started out doing this and this and this and this. And I go, yes, but by the time back then I aspired to be a dealer principal. By the time I wanted to be a dealer principal, I wanted to make sure that I had an understanding of all the core aspects of that business to run it properly.
Right.
But anyways, we're now on the back end of it.
So people come to you to buy a car, they don't actually need to buy that car.
Yep.
But when they come to you for finance, they need finance.
100%.
So it's a little bit different, isn't it? They've already got the car, now they need the finance to get that car.
100%.
And so you've got to go through and see if they're worthy of lending that or safe to not.
And it's a very personal thing as well, because you're looking at someone's profile, you know, their bank statements, their history, what they do, where they live. It's a very personal aspect. You're building a lot of rapport. And so I really enjoyed it because it was problem solving, you know. Not all the time is it just going to be an instant approval. There is going to be pushback. There's going to be questions. And you need to work with the client and work with the lender to figure out, okay, how can we make this a deal, is what we pretty much say.
Yeah.
How can we make this work? What avenues do we need? What deposits do we need? So I really enjoyed when customers are like, right, I've got a budget of $200 a week. And I'd be like, cool, okay, let's structure it this way. And just, I've always been a bit of a problem solver, so being able to work backwards and go, right, so in order for us to get to that, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, because we were talking before we came into the studio about credit rating.
Yes.
And maybe there's a message there for young people.
You do not ruin your credit rating.
Don't ruin your credit rating.
No.
And so young people that you've seen that have ruined their credit rating, what sort of things did they do to do that?
You get people that don't want to pay phone bills, don't want to pay power bills. Late payment on an overdraft, late payment on a credit card, too many inquiries.
Yeah.
So what people don't realise is, yes, it's under law that inquiries aren't allowed to impact your credit score. But if you go to a lender and you've suddenly gone to 15 before then, it all shows, and it actually puts you as an at-risk client.
So that comes up on the screen for you. You can see who's been looking at that client.
Yes, exactly.
And then you go, well, I've obviously been turned down because they've gone to X amount of other lenders before me.
When even it's them just looking for a better rate.
Yeah.
And it's...
Oh, so really you can be looking for a better rate and that has an effect on your...
100%.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So businesses are the most impacted because their credit score does drop when they do an inquiry.
Yeah.
But consumers, by law, we're not allowed to drop their credit score, but it does show as an at-risk client.
Yeah. Because I haven't looked at it for a while. It was like a dial and had different colours on it. Do they still have that, or is that different?
It depends which credit reporting agency you go to. We've got many in New Zealand, and they all run different credit reportings.
Okay.
So it depends entirely. We simplify it, and it's just kind of upfront. Obviously, I'm not on the lending side. I'm not an analyst, so they're the ones that look at all of that key data. I just get the front end of it from them and have to have an understanding of how they're looking at it and how they operate.
But basically, every kid's got a phone.
Yes.
Most of them are prepay.
Yep.
And I say to young people that are going into any professional thing, get a 6-digit phone number, because otherwise everybody can see you've got an 021 or something 0. So it's a prepaid number and most kids will carry that number through into their adulthood. So I said try and get a 6-digit number because they're all out there you can grab those off any other thing. But so. When they go to an account, then don't let that account run over, because just something as simple as letting your your phone bill fall due and not pay it.
Yep, it shows up as unable to make commitments or in arrears or anything like that, which is, I know it seems stupid that a phone bill...
it might only be for a few $100, but that'll have an effect on your credit rating.
It does. All it does is, instead of you being seen as a good customer and straight through the line and no needing to kind of provide explanation, it just puts a halt to it.
Yeah, because sooner or later they're going to come across somebody like you.
Exactly, yep.
Well, either it's going to be for vehicle finance or it's going to be for a bank to go for a home loan. And that's the other thing, is student debt.
Yes.
So you see people coming for cars that have got student debt.
Ironically, it's quite a separate, because it's with IRD, we don't tend to worry about it. No.
Oh, okay.
No, unless they've loaded a default on them because they're not paying or they've gone overseas and run away. That's something that we don't really factor in.
Because I know the banks look at student debt when you're trying to service a mortgage.
I feel like a mortgage versus probably $50,000 is quite a bit different, though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yes,
point.
So that is for debt to income ratio. Yeah, for sure.
So now you're working for UDC.
Yes, I did Tristram, and then worked there for a while, and then got headhunted to go to John Andrew Ford. So I never needed to change jobs. I never wanted to change jobs. I got a call from the dealer principal that said, you need to come work for me. And I said, I'm quite comfy here, but thank you. And he goes, come and see me on Friday. I'll put an offer on the table you can't say no to.
Well, that's exciting.
And that's Phil Saunders, who's now the regional manager for Armstrong's Automotive. He's an interesting character. Love him to bits. And so he rolled me in.
And it was a good offer.
It was a good offer, yeah.
Right.
So I ended up being the senior business manager. I had 2 business managers reporting to me, and I was pulled in to do process. So that's where I do really well, is process, re-implementing it and creating process.
Right.
Because my saying always goes, if you have the right people who follow the right process, you're going to generate a lot of profit.
Good.
I like it. And that's how I've rolled for the last 5 years.
Right. And that formula's working.
It is definitely working. So while I was at John Andrew Ford, I broke records, nationwide records.
Oh, good.
So sole business manager, we work in net amount finance, which is called NAF.
Right.
So as a sole business manager with just one financier, which at the time was UDC, I did $5.7 million in NAF in a month.
In a month?
In a month.
I thought they were going to say
and that was with one, and then I dabbled with another 1.5 to 2 mil with other financiers.
Yeah.
So my life definitely revolved around work. It was 10 to 12 hour days. It was working 7 days a week, but it was very rewarding.
Good. So, well, you obviously enjoy it. You're good at it. You're good at it, and you enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And I made a lot of good clients that still follow me to this day, and they kind of are quite a few are upset that I've left the dealer world and now I've gone to UDC.
Yeah.
So spent 3 years.
But you've gone up each step. You've gone up the food chain.
In essence, yes. So with dealerships, you kind of start at the bottom and roll your way to the top. The end game is dealer principal or dealership owner.
Yeah. So the other thing is, for the young people, make sure you don't affect your credit rating.
Yeah.
And don't worry about starting small.
You have to.
Find that thing that you like and just work your...
Yep. You've got to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, it's interesting that those, Deborah Keelan and the other people that have tapped you on the shoulder or helped you out recognise something in you, and that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, and that was definitely the driver for me. So it's interesting. I'm trying to get the most diverse range of knowledge that I can, because we're always going to be able to learn. There is always something to learn somewhere or from someone.
Well, there's probably a whole lot of young women out there that do you look out for them? Because you could be the next Deborah Keelan to help out a young woman you bump into. Yeah, no, definitely. I try to get a lot of young girls into, because automotive is seen as quite a male-dominated industry. Yeah. I'm trying to get more females into it, because ironically, when you look at a couple that rolls into the yard to buy a car, generally the wife is the final influencing factor. Oh, is that right? Yeah, okay. 100%. Yeah, probably not in your case. Oh, no, I don't know. But I'm sure you ask opinion. Normally, it's a real pleasure when you do come across a good salesperson. A lot of people, whether it's real estate or cars or boats, but that's the 90-10 rule. 90% of them probably aren't that good at it. Yep. And the 10% you meet, when you do come across a really good salesperson, whatever they do, they're nice to deal with. Mm-hmm. They're really good, and they're lovely people. And you end up wanting them for all of your future sales. Yeah. So let's go. So we've covered your work thing. Yep. You're going good. Now you've got some really interesting leisure activities. I do. Yeah. You do, because who's chaotic blonde? Who's the chaotic So I decided, I went through a really bad breakup when I was working at Audi, and I decided to, all right, I better do something. Was that Luke or? No, unfortunately not. No, that was another one before Luke's time. We're talking years ago now. Sorry. Okay. And I was sitting there quite bored on weekends, and I was like, I want to learn to ride a bike. Right. Oh, you hadn't ridden a bike before? No. I dabbled on a farm bike, but I went, I want to ride a bike. Yeah.
And the receptionist at the time on the Sunday was a male.
Right.
And he was looking at Trade Me on bikes. And I said, should we buy them together? His name was Dominic. He was really cool. And so in the end, I went, you know what I've always wanted was a bright green Kawasaki Ninja. I was like, when I was a kid, I remember we were out the back rural of Dairy Flat and one had crossed our paths at an intersection. I went, that looks so cool. So anyways, off I went, never ridden a bike, bought a bike, got it delivered because I didn't know how to ride said bike.
You're joking. And what was that?
It was just a Ninja 400.
Wow, okay.
It was 2018, end of 2018. And decided to teach myself to ride. And I just so happened to be naturally good at it. I don't know why, because I've driven manual, but I hadn't for years prior. And I just picked up and off we went. So started doing that and then was like, oh, okay, cool, road riding's nice. I want to upskill. Let's go to the track.
Right. So you got a learners, and,
Yeah.
and you could ride up to the 400 on the learners.
Yeah, and on restricted, yep, you can
Okay,
ride.
good.
Well, it's LAMS is learner approved motorcycle
Okay.
scheme, so it's
Yep.
power to weight ratio.
Right.
So it fit within that scheme.
Yeah.
And then took it to the track, and everyone went, what are you doing with a LAMS bike on the track? And I went, no, and I ended up being really good at that too,
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
quicker on the infield than the boys on their thousands, which I thought was hilarious. I was like,
Yeah.
this is great fun. And as I was kind of going through this journey of learning to ride and upskilling and enjoying my track days, I used to post my antics on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then a couple went viral, and next minute I've got almost 38,000 followers.
You're joking. I didn't realise that. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when you call yourself Chaotic Blonde.
Yeah, it was a gamer tag that I used that I thought would just be hilarious because people say
Yeah.
if Amber's ever involved, there's generally chaos to follow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, cool, we'll just run it. And have ended up working with quite a few cool brands and then got tapped up by Autocar New Zealand to be a contributor. So I now am a technical journalist for Autocar as well in my part-time. Plus I have horses.
Yeah, I know. Horses. Oh, the horses. Oh.
I know, so
But
yeah.
and you got dirt bikes as well. So you
Yep,
road,
yep.
track, dirt.
Yeah, so I did.
I don't know where you get it. Like, how can you?
Everyone says
where's
that,
the time,
eh?
Where's the time come from?
Well, I feel like I have to always keep busy. Like, that's always just been me.
Like how many hours of night do you get to sleep?
Pretty good. I enjoy reading. So at the moment I'm reading before I go to sleep, or podcasts. I've been listening to
Right.
podcasts. But I'm pretty good at, like, my routine when I was working at Ford, because I was always required to be in the city, was wake up at 5, get to the gym by 5:30, get to work, get home from work, do the horses, and then on the weekends would be bike time. Or I would ride into work and ride back.
Isn't one horse enough?
Look,
You got 5 or something?
Six.
Six,
well,
yeah.
yeah, 6. I've just sold 2, so we're down to 4.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I realised at 31 that I don't have enough me time.
No.
So I'm just trying to limit that and trying to reduce the hobbies. But bikes is definitely something that's easy because you can just throw them in the garage and deal with them another day.
Don't have to feed them.
Yeah,
Don't
whereas
have to go to the
horses
vet.
are at the gate, where's my dinner at 6 o'clock every
Yeah.
night? And I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. But anyway, so we're downsizing on the horse front, and I'm
Right.
just going to take a key focus to 2 of them that I'm going to keep.
Right.
And focusing a little bit more on the bikes, and I think it's because Autocar are they're loving working with me, which has been awesome. I've been to so many launches. They've flown me all over Australia. It's been
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like I went to
excellent.
the Ram launch, which was amazing. Loved
joking.
that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then anytime new bikes come out, I'm generally first to hop on them, review them, give them a bit of insight.
Didn't you go down to the South Island on bikes this?
Yep.
Like how long ago was that? Just shortly.
Just came back actually about 3 weeks ago.
You're riding a Triumph.
Yeah, so I had a Triumph 400 to review, a 400 XC, and I enjoyed it so much. I was like, should we go try the South Island on these things? And
Yeah.
Triumph, admittedly, would have been like, yeah, take it. But I figured what I want to do on that bike is not suitable for a demo bike. It'll potentially come back destroyed because we were
Right.
doing river crossings and
Oh,
gravel
okay.
roads. So we ended up buying one. So bought one, spent 2 weeks, 4,800 kilometres
Wow.
on the back of that for 2 weeks, and did all of the tracks around Otago, did all of them like
Is it a
Rainbow
trail
Road.
bike, is it? Or-
It's a cross-country bike. So
Okay.
it's a road bike
Yeah.
that can dabble in a little bit of cross-country. Did Nevis Valley with 27 river crossings, got
Wow.
absolutely soaked.
Yeah.
And had way too much fun, and now we want to kind of do it again every year. So we started with 3 of us, and by the end there were like 5 in the collection of people.
Oh, that's good. So you collected other people
Yeah,
on
we
the way.
collected other people, and my brother was due to fly down. This is adopted brother, but that's another story.
That's another story, yeah.
He was due to fly down because he bought a bike in the South Island to join us,
Yeah.
but then he broke his collarbone the weekend before.
On the bike?
Yeah, on his dirt bike,
On a
yes.
dirt bike, yeah. That's
So I just
a
had
common fracture for a dirt bike.
Yeah. So yeah, explored a lot of New Zealand and definitely keen to go back.
Yeah. So your advice for young people?
My advice for young
Yeah.
people, listen to your parents.
Listen to your parents.
I
you
didn't.
You didn't listen to yours, no.
I didn't listen to mine, and I think because of the hard times I had, it ended up moulding me into the person I am today.
Yeah.
But it is surround yourself with good people that are going places, that are not just sitting on their couch playing video games and smoking dope. I'm sorry, but that's
Yeah.
not going to get you anywhere in life. It's surrounding yourself with good people and being like following your aspirations. And if you think you can do it, just try. There is no harm in trying. Like if you don't try, you're never going to know.
Nothing to lose, yeah.
If I didn't try to get into the automotive sector, where would I be today? Probably still doing an admin job, pushing paper for 45, 50K a year,
Yeah.
which is not what I want to do, and that's not the aspirations I've got in life. So I think it is definitely, if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah. Because you look like you live a very exciting life.
Yes, my other half's probably more exciting than me.
Yeah,
He's
I see
busy.
he's got a really nice blue Lamborghini.
We're
Yeah.
busy twin turboing that at the moment.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
see
that's
some
on the
shots of
hoist.
that on your Instagram, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
we live a very interesting and diverse life.
Well, you're living it.
Yeah,
That's the
definitely.
thing, live it. No time to waste, I tell you.
But now we're kind of like, okay, should we, for us, settling down is purchasing a house. For others, it might be getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
So for us, we're like, should we settle down and look at buying a house? And he goes, yeah, right, it's about time. Because we both enjoyed our toys far too
Yeah.
much.
Well,
But-
it's good to get some property, and a lot
Yeah.
of people are bagging property at the moment, but I think that one day they're going to, one government's going to let more people into this country.
Yep.
And, property's always been a safe bet, especially in a current country like New
Yeah.
Zealand, where people want to come, billions of people want to come and live here. Not that we want them here, but,
Yeah.
it's always there if you need it, so get
And
some
that's
place.
exactly it. Like we've been looking for the last 2 years, but we just haven't quite found something that we feel is the right thing for
Right.
us, which
Yeah.
is frustrating because we are looking for a little bit of land.
Yeah, you want
but-
a bit of land for
yeah.
the horses and
But
stuff.
ideally something that could potentially move to future urban as well.
Yeah, okay.
Which is when you start going to multi-offers with areas like that, it becomes a bit of a bidding war.
Yeah, okay. Because
Yeah.
you did talk about moving to Christchurch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It is something that's kind of, it's on the radar, and I think you look at the net migration, right? So last year, Auckland's net migration was a negative, well, we talk about internal
Negative, really?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't
negative
know
of
that.
3,600 people. Christchurch gained 38,000 people from the North Island.
Right.
So you think about that for a minute and go, where are people going and where is
Yeah.
that growth going to be? So I think a good property move from a purchase perspective is definitely in Christchurch.
Right, okay.
Whereas Auckland's kind of slotting back slowly but surely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Funny that, eh? Well, I've got to say thanks very much. Once again, if you need a mortgage, call Jess Barlow.
Thank you.
Just Google Jess Barlow. Actually, I'll do her number. How's that? 021 537701. Yeah, 021 537701. And hey, thanks a lot for coming by.
Thank you
It's
for
been
having
really
me.
good. Man,
Yeah.
what a story you've got.
I know. I feel like we
Yeah.
could sit here for ages.
Yeah, we could do. You could. Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you take care.
Thank
Thanks very
you.
much.